We could all distinctly hear it coming from the ghost box. Get out. Get out. There was no attempt to hold a conversation, just a repetitive command for us to leave. The leader of our paranormal investigation seemed unfazed, asking, "Why did you not want us here?" After hearing the voice telling us to get the hell out of that place countless times, I started to wonder if we should heed its warning. At that moment, we were sitting in a circle, and even though I couldn't see it, I felt a presence enter our circle between two individuals opposite me. Later, those two people confirmed that they felt something brushing past them at the same time I sensed the presence. I had attended several paranormal investigations at various haunted locations in Singapore, but what I experienced at Labrador Park in April 2017 was the most intense. Having only a few pictures from that investigation since I hadn't started this channel at the time, I decided to revisit the place recently in May 2023 to validate whether the same sensations I felt then still lingered today. In this video, I will delve into the history of Labrador Park and explore why it may be haunted. Additionally, I will discuss the two specific locations within the park where I distinctly felt a demonic presence. A brief history of Labrador Park, also known as Fort Pasir Panjang. Singapore was discovered by Sir Stamford Raffles of the East India Company in 1819 and remained a British colony until gaining independence in 1965. In the 19th century, the British began fortifying Singapore with 11 coastal artillery forts overlooking the waters, and Labrador Park was one of them. Initially completed in 1878, it was paired with Fort Siloso on Sentosa Island as a defense site for Keppel Harbour, then known as New Harbour. As the potential risk of war increased in the region, Labrador Park was further fortified. Just before World War II, it was considered the most heavily fortified of all the artillery forts. However, during the war, the Japanese successfully invaded Singapore, defeating the British. The guns at Labrador Park were rarely used and proved ineffective against the Japanese forces. They provided limited support to the local militia during the Japanese advance in the Pasir Panjang/Alexandra Road area. The Battle of Pasir Panjang was considered the fiercest battle in Singapore, resulting in the near-total decimation of the local force of about 42 soldiers and their officers stationed at Bukit Chandu. As a retaliatory act, 3 groups of Japanese soldiers went on a rampage, brutally bayoneting everyone they encountered at the Alexandra Hospital, resulting in the death of around 200 people. Pasir Panjang and Alexandra Road area are not within the immediate vicinity of Labrador Park. It would seem more logical for these locations, where deaths occurred, to be commonly associated with hauntings. However, that is not the case. Instead, Labrador Park, where no deaths or battles were officially recorded, has become a haunted location. While there is no official documentation, rumors suggest that during the Japanese occupation of Singapore, many people were massacred and subjected to horrific acts at this site, including being fed hot tar. I believe that the two locations where I felt the demonic presences may be connected to these incidents, as places of murder and violence often become gateways for dark forces to enter our world. Now, let's orient ourselves within Labrador Park. Starting at Labrador MRT, it takes approximately 10 minutes to walk to the park. Upon entering the park, the first site of interest is the gun emplacement area. Continuing onwards, you will reach the first location where I encountered the most potent negative demonic energy. Reflecting on it, I cannot recall ever experiencing such an overwhelming and visceral sensation in my life before. The closest comparison would perhaps be the Tol Sleng Museum of Genocide in Cambodia, which exhibits the infamous killing fields and S-21 prison from the Khmer Rouge regime, where an estimated 14,000 people were brutally killed on site. This first location is known as the tunnels. As soon as I approached the sign introducing the site, my stomach started churning, and I felt an intense urge to distance myself from getting closer. Even after leaving the premises, I felt dazed for about 5 to 10 minutes. The tunnels, believed to have been constructed in 1886, served as underground storerooms for ammunition to support the gun emplacements above. There is an expanded chamber at the entrance, allowing for two-way human traffic. The tunnel then splits into 2 branches, leading to the cartridge warehouse and hoist area, as well as the shell storeroom and hoist area. These tunnels have been sealed off from public access since 2016, although occasional organized walks may grant limited access. Despite not venturing inside personally, the path leading to the gate that seals off public access evokes a sense of foreboding. Even from outside the gate, I can feel an otherworldly presence lurking beneath it. After leaving the tunnels and continuing along the route, you will come across a wooden platform area where we conducted the Ghost Box session in 2017. This spot used to house a restaurant or cafe, but it has been out of business for many years. In terms of haunting, this area seemed relatively benign. I believe that the spirit that told us to leave during the Ghost Box session did not originate from this spot but rather followed us from the tunnels. To find the second location where I experienced the demonic presence, you need to head towards the coastline. The marker for this location is the red beacon. Adjacent to the red beacon, there is a playground that includes a machine gun bunker. It is this machine gun bunker that appears to be associated with the demonic presence. The influence of this presence manifests in a circular area spanning approximately 3 meters in all directions. During my recent visit, my friend accompanied me and used a pendulum for further investigation. Remarkably, we observed that the pendulum rotated counterclockwise when positioned within this sphere of influence. As soon as we stepped outside this area, the pendulum resumed its customary clockwise rotation. If you have visited Singapore's Labrador Park, I would love to hear if you have felt anything supernatural there. Please share your thoughts in the comments.